Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hold up, let me turn off my notifications. I forgot to do that before I went live. As you join the room, say hi. I greet everybody. Welcome. I'm also live on Facebook, and quite frankly, I set up a little wrong, so that's why my head is turning, but that's okay. I'll fix it for tomorrow. But welcome to this morning's edition of the LT&A Chatter Project. Hey girl, how you doing? I see you at Coast Guard today. We need to catch up because I want to bring you on the platform again. You know how we do when we have our conversations. I want to share with the people what it's really like behind the scenes as contractors. So we need to bring back our contractors conversation, get our coffee, and just kind of spill the tea on what's going on. I'm talking to one of my power partners, LaShonda. She's been there when we've been on contracts, and she's been there through my recovery. And I just want to shout her out. She's an awesome power partner. She has worked with the Department of Homeland Security. She has done work with Coast Guard. She's working with Coast Guard now. So if you want insight to working with either of those agencies, she's the girl to hook up with. I don't mind shouting out other people because, here's the thing. There are billions of people in the world, and we cannot service everyone. So this small mentality of I can't give others praise is the real reason a lot of people are not seeing prosperity. So we need to let go of that mindset of I'm going to hog all the credit for my client because that's just not where it's at. So hey girl, hey. Besides, she is awesome in her lane and I'm awesome in mine, and we just gonna be awesome in our lanes together. How about going down the sideway together? But let me do a little bit introduction of what I do. I'm the founder of the LT&A company. I am your strategic partner in government compliance. And I know people say, what is a compliance analyst? What do a compliance analyst do? Why should I care about compliance? And the short answer is people win the award, but they lose the contract on compliance. People will make millions of dollars in contracting. And when the auditor comes, they will write $1 million check because they are not compliant. And don't let them fool you. The government loves to ask for their money back because the government will not pay for what it did not agree to. You can't hear me? Okay. Can you hear me now? Uh, can you hear me now, LaShonda? I'm having a little audio problem over on my Instagram side. Just let me know if you can hear me now. My North Carolina has been having problems with deliveries because my mic was supposed to arrive yesterday and I'm just struggling today. Hoping that my new mic arrives today. Okay. Well, let's hope that she can hear me. So, yes, the government loves to ask for their money back. and they penalties and interest because contracts are very clear on what the government will pay for, what the government will not pay for, and how will pay for it. You have FAR, which is the Federal Acquisition Regulation. I will go over some updates too far that are on the horizon that you should be aware of. You have the cost accounting standards. Now, while everybody isn't CAS coverage is applicable as your contract value increases. So if you plan to grow in contracting, you need to just implement CAS compliant processes in the beginning. And all of these things tell you how the government will pay for costs. There's actually a set of rules that deals with contracts on the Senate and the Hill. And at this particular moment in time, I am drawing a blank on the name of it, but I will have the name of it a little later. They have their rule on the legislative side. That is Governor Sergeant at Arms. But I digress and I'll move on. This morning, we're going to talk about the presidential announcement, which should not have been a surprise to anybody. So, if you caught the news briefing last night, you know the president had mandated all federal employees receive they're calling it a vaccine, and people want to argue over that terminology. I'm not about to do it because this is not a political platform. This is an education and platform. However, last night in his announcement, he has extended that mandate to contractors. That's right. Government contractors are now required to vaccinate their workforce. And I'm quite sure that you will have to show proof of that vaccination. I am not sure if exemptions exist to that or your insurance agent to see how that is working. Quite frankly, I would recommend this is a bit of free coaching, and I'm seeking your permission to coach you in this regard. I would reach out to my attorney, my HR representative, if you have one, and even if your company isn't that large, you should, at the very minimum, have an HR consultant and your insurance broker, your insurance agent, and you should be having conversations around what it's going to look like to vaccinate your workforce and or to answer questions that are coming from your workforce. You should document how you're handling this. Now, where I personally believe this is going to be a litigious issue, this is going to get litigated. We're already seeing some litigations come through the court with mandates coming from college and etc. Much like, people are trying to say it already hit with the polio vaccine. There are some very compelling arguments saying this does not meet the same threshold, so it needs to be relitigated. So I want to tell everybody pull that team of advisors together and have those conversations, document how you intend to do it. We will need proof that you have informed your team, that you have some sort of preparation in mind to get the documentation out there. Implement the, executive order. Typically in the government, you have 30 days to ramp up and get this party started. It's not like you said it last night, you have to do it today. But typically in the government, you have 30 days to enact this. So you have 30 days to get your ducks in order and to get it going. Understand the next government fiscal year starts October 1st. Also understand that a part of his announcement last night, they announced a booster that's going to be available starting September 20th. So I'm really thinking this is August 19th. So 30 days will take you right at that September 20th mark. So yeah, that's going to be 30 days for you to have your workforce um, inoculated and have your compliance records there. So if you're worried about compliance of the new regulation, if you're worried about risk, because I do know a lot of small businesses are worried about the risk. A lot of small businesses are worried about attrition. If you have a workforce and you have members, understand that there's some vaccine hesitancy. Uh, I'm not your consultant, so I can't tell you what to do. All I can do is instruct you to seek counsel. I understand the times that we live in. I understand people's concerns are real concerns. Um, all I can tell you is just to reach out and seek counsel as far as this issue. But I really must say, I'm not surprised that he made this announcement. I'm not surprised that he made this mandate, especially at all, that he has pushed it to contractors. I am keeping an eye out because I do believe it will be litigated. It just is what it is. I'm haven't looked at any of the current cases. I do know some courts are coming down on the side of mandates are unconstitutional. I do know that we currently have one justice who have stood on the side of mandates, and that is the new justice that was appointed by President Trump, but she hasn't given a reason. So I don't know what her rationale is. The other justices, and Supreme Court isn't on break right now. We don't even have a calendar for them for the next session. So yeah, we just need. I'm just telling you, seek counsel if you want to discuss this with my agency to see how I can help. Send me a DM and I'll get you on my calendar to see if there's something I can do to assist you. But moving on, announced that any agency or any company who has a contract that receives Medicaid funding must vaccinate its workforce. And I want y'all to be clear about something. Medicaid funding, I love the way he prefaced this because people are funds more than just hospitals and clinics. Medicaid funding, Medicaid funds a myriad of things. So if I were you, I would go back and look at my contracts, any contracts you have with local principalities, any contracts that you have with states, any contracts you have with local agencies, if you have contracts with supply companies. If the ultimate funding comes from or through Medicaid, that mandate applies to you. Even if you're not the prime, if you're a sub, that mandate applies to you. He was very specific with his wording for a reason. His wording was if the funding ultimately comes from Medicaid, and not a Medicaid contract, Medicaid funding. So that's one of those guarantees where his language was specific enough such that it ropes you in. So yeah, those are that was one executive order that was announced last evening. I went live real quick last night. I didn't get to go live on Instagram, and I didn't load it on Instagram. So my Instagram audience is just hearing it today. But yes, those two executive orders mandate contractors to vaccinate their workforce was announced last night. Typically, government, you have 30 days to ramp up operations to come into compliance. The new government year starts October 1st. So I'm anticipating, this is not written down, this is what I'm stating based on my experience with the government. You're going to have 30 days to ramp up, get something written and operational and in the works, and 30 days to comply, which is by October 1st, you're going to have to be in full compliance. That's what I'm seeing, unless there's some sort of judicial stay put in place. That's what I'm seeing as far as that executive order, which was announced last night. So on to the next topic. Our next topic is the Department of Defense has several small business focus and total small business only initiatives that have been announced, most of which focus on IT and IT related services. So if you're looking to expand your services, industry, I would suggest looking at the Department of Defense, Department the Department of Logistics, because they have several total small business initiatives that are out, that came out. I actually received the email last night. I actually received the email this morning. So total small business set aside, and some are small initiatives, and the difference being when then when contracts come as total small businesses, that means you're not in competition with any big dog. Now you know your NACE code and go to the SBA. Well, actually, you don't have to go to SBA website. If you download the NACE code list off census.us.gov, you will see the small business sizing on there. So the your NACE code, how small business is determined. So whatever your NACE code is, it could be determined by revenue, um, workforce, or, or sometimes it's you have to be careful of NACE codes because some NACE codes actually determine your small business um, designation by employees you have. It's not a lot, it's just a handful, but you might be surprised if one of your NACE codes fall. Yes, department. So total small business means you're not in competition with any of the big dogs. So I would suggest look of linguistics, logistics, excuse me, Department of Logistics Agency, Department of Defense. They just came out with some total small business initiatives. A lot of them are IT intensive. Give them their price list. If they like it, it's good. I would be careful of discount pricing with the government because the government have definite rules about discount pricing. So if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to pricing at a discount with the government, seek counsel. Because once you do it, you have clients. You just can't offer a discount to one agency and not give it to another. You have to do it clear across the board. So if that's what your strategy is with getting in the government, then you need to make that a long haul strategy and you need to be able to somehow or another recover any losses related to that strategy somewhere else. But you can't offer the Department of Defense a discount and not offer it to Homeland Security. That's not how the government works. Because the Homeland Security will know you gave Department of Defense a discount and they'll want that discount as well. That's just FYI. There are some FAR updates coming out. I discussed two yesterday. One is a change to the Buy American Act, which is open for comment. Please, if you go to acquisition.gov, you will see all of our updates there. You can also have them emailed to you if you want to keep up with them, or you could just hire a consultant such as myself that will keep you aware of the ones. All FAR clause, you should be aware of them. However, there are some that you should be hyper aware of, and some you should be cursory aware of. So you can hire a consultant that will just make you aware of ones that you should keep on your ultimate radar and ones that you should just kind of like keep on floating in the background. Such as if your business does not include buying supplies or including commercial items, the Buy American Act really wouldn't affect you at all. Um, but it's something you should have in the background or the back of your mind, because that you will be surprised if you source a VA and bill that VA to the government, and that VA comes from a country that is not on the approved list, you could be in violation of the Buy American Act. So that's why I'm saying there are some FAR clauses you should be hyper aware of, and there are some FAR clauses. So we have gone over the presidential announcement of the executive order, which was issued last night. My professional opinion is you're going to have 30 days to come up with an action plan, 30 days to become compliant and get it done, because the government fiscal year starts October 1st, and we are already at August 19th. The booster shot that they announced last night is supposed to go into effect and be available come September 20th, which is why another reason I came out with that timeline of the 20th of 30 and 30, especially because 30-day ramp up. I mean, if you give you time to get your your workforce inoculated with both injections by September 20th. Now, you're not eligible for the booster until 8 months after you've had both shots. So you don't have to worry about going to be 8 months later. But you should look at total compliance by October 1st at minimum. Mhm. I would expect to see that issue full. I do expect to see that issue litigated